I want to talk about the state of the software engineering job market collapse in 2025. These are some of my most viewed videos, and I think for good reason because I feel like it's a legitimate problem, and I feel like a lot of people are in this state of kind of panic and they don't know what to do because they're looking for a job, they can't find a job, they're a year and a half, 2 years out of school with a computer science degree, engineering degree, whatever it is. They're trying to find a junior engineer position, a junior software developer position, and they are unable to due to a number of factors. One factor, I believe, is we have so many people actively looking for jobs, and we have so many people trying to shift solely into a remote position where you actually have people going from a higher position and taking a job to a lower position because it is fully remote. And that's what we're seeing happen. That is one factor among many. You can read a book called Men at Work and talking about potential factors that go into this problem in this economy. But it is true that we are seeing a rising number of people not entering the workforce due to a number of factors, and that number has ticked above 10%. It's a very fascinating book. You should go look at it. It's kind of gotten pretty popular. And to be honest with you, when I read it, I had no idea what it was. I just saw it sitting at the library and I thought it was an interesting read. And it wasn't, prescriptive. It wasn't conclusive in its, what it was saying. It was just simply presenting various factors. And so if you're interested, go check it out. It's a pretty interesting read. But from a software development perspective, the answer used to be, you just have to learn this language. You just have to learn this skill. You just have to build this project. You have to do all these things. While that is somewhat true to today, you still have to do all those things. You have to make personal projects and you have to always be learning new languages. That's not going to solve the problem anymore. And I think we learned this in 2024, where we had not only a lot of layoffs, but we had a lot of just unfilled positions. And it begs the question, okay, why are these positions going unfilled when it seems like a lot of people are applying to spots and not getting jobs? Why is there this discrepancy? And it's a very fascinating economic question because I feel like we are entering into 2025 with the same problem. We have a lot of open jobs. We have a lot of people applying to jobs, but it seems like they're just not getting them. And I don't know if it's because companies are posting jobs and then taking them off, if it's just they receive such a high number of applications, if it's people just switching jobs so much, because that's also another factor that goes into this. The job hop rate, if we want to call it, is only increasing. People are switching jobs more than ever, and it's due in part due to the salary gains that you can get by switching jobs. It's just a natural effect of that. But it's also just given just the state of the changing world. Some places are requiring people to come back into the office, whether it's for hybrid or full time. So some people leave because of that to go in search of remote. And remote used to be competitive to get. Now it's almost ultra competitive to get, especially if you are entering the market for the first time. And it's truly interesting because we are, we're trying to, it feels like we're taking one step forward and two steps back because we're trying to overcome cost of living increases. We're trying to overcome energy increases, housing increases, rent increases. All these increases are happening that are affecting our ability to just live. And we're having this problem. We're also having the problem of just an inability to sustain a stable workforce. When you have companies lay off 10% of their employees in a day, it really begs the question of, okay, is this a stable career to get into anymore? Is it stable? Because we're all seeking stability. We all want to know that, okay, when I wake up in the morning, I have my basic needs provided for. And what it feels like we're going to is we're going towards an economy where basic stability is not guaranteed. It feels like we're putting all this extra work in. Some people are getting their bachelor's degree, some people are getting their master's degree, some people are getting their PhDs. That's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into education and they're not seeing the same results that they used to. In the early 2000s and 2010s, we had this boom of technology jobs, and now we're seeing this boom of AI, and we are still trying to figure out not only how is this going to affect it, but what are jobs going to look like in the future? Because if we continue to allow this education requirement creep to continue to grow and grow out beyond the scope of what it used to be, we're going to soon require people to get master's degrees and spend upwards around 100, 200, $300,000 in education to be able basically get a job to never be able to repay that back in like 20 years time, which is just a wild requirement. Because when you require a master's degree for a job that didn't used to require a master's degree, which is what we're seeing, you are basically requiring people to spend an additional $100,000 in educational costs to get a job that pays the same as what it used to without a master's degree. And now they have to say, okay, I'm going to repay this back over the course of 20 years, whatever, however long that note stretches. And that's just a major ask of people. And I just don't feel like places realize what they're asking when they bump that bachelor's degree up to require it to be a master's or a PhD level. And I truly I get that. Okay, research places, you need a PhD candidate to do the research, right? You need if it's some super obscure technical field, I get that. I'm talking about jobs that once were bachelor's degrees, now that are requiring master's degrees to do the exact same thing. And it's just wild to me because not only, okay, we don't have $300,000 to spend on educational costs, which are rising an unbelievable amount in the United States. So we have to pay that off, but then we have to go and get a job that didn't used to require that. And it's just as completely bananas to me. And I completely understand the route to go boot camp into web development, because not only is that a significant decrease in cost, but it can sometimes lead to the exact same outcome without going into debt over student costs, like educational costs. So I don't understand why we have this bias against people who pursue the boot camp, because it's not just that people decided, oh, I'm going to try to circumvent learning by just doing a boot camp. That's not it at all. Boot camps are an excellent option if you're trying to take a practical look at this economy and just the costs of everything, because education is a massive expense, and it's only increasing every year by astronomical. I mean, education in the U.S. is so broken; it's so expensive, and jobs are not offering a salary to repay that. So what incentive is there to go and get a degree when you can just go get a boot camp and be guaranteed placement in a company? I don't know, because it's hard to right. It's getting harder and harder to justify every year, and that's what I'm afraid of, is that the requirement of a master's degree for a job that didn't used to require it, I just don't think that is a sustainable market. It's not a sustainable ask. And if we're trying to drive people hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to do a job, I mean, do people realize, do we realize what we're getting ourselves into? And it's just wild to me. I mean, it truly is wild. And I'm just some random person talking about this. Whatever. These are just my thoughts, and these are just what I'm observing. I'm not saying that I don't know if there's a solution. I'm not trying to be prescriptive in anything I say. I'm just truly just looking at what I see. And I've been doing this for 6 years in software development, and I've witnessed entry requirements getting increasing. There's more requirements to just get started in this career, and I've seen that. And I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, truly. I mean, we have moved so far away from the apprenticeship model, the kind of like the mentorship model in this career, where we are now somehow expecting people to be full-blown experts by the time they're looking for a junior job, which is just, again, just completely bananas to me. I just don't know how we're expected to do that. It just is crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to kind of get, fired up about the topic, and it's easy to talk about. It's fun to talk about because it's just so broken. We're just along for the ride, We're just trying to do our best, and that's all we can do is do our best and keep trying. I don't have any more to say on it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.